Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to come on again and highlight an article here because this cannot be saved until the next video. And no, don't like that. And what you are looking at is a Washington Examiner article. Yeah, Washington Examiner. And you probably already read the title before I'm going to read it, but it says Biden aims to sign on to UN's global gun registration treaty. Huh. Odd, a little bit. We all know what happens after a registration of firearms of any kind. We all know what happened in Nazi Germany. We know what happened in the Soviet Union. We know what happened to Turkey, Armenia, just every single instance that a registration has been signed or put into effect. Shortly after comes the full-on confiscation of firearms, and then we all know what happens after that. This is serious news right here. This should be on everybody's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, etc. Instagram, it don't even matter what it is. Send this video to everybody in your text messages. Send it to every single person you know, because this is not good at all. So, let's get into it. The Biden administration this week signaled that it is eyeing a United Nations small arms treaty that critics claim will lead to an international gun registration plan, including for individual American gun owners. That's the ripest apple on the tree. The 300 plus million people in the United States that keep and bear arms. It's been a part of our country since our inception. This is something that we've always, held dear. There's a reason why the Second Amendment is the second, and that's in case the first one don't work out. So, 2 years after former President Donald Trump withdrew from it, a top arms diplomat at the State Department told the global body that the current administration is swinging behind the arms trade treaty. Now, it seems on the surface, people are like, yeah, Trump withdrew from this, and this was a good thing, but you don't really understand. Trump withdrew from this thing, so later on they could bring it back with even more regulations, you could say. And of course, to give the former acting president of the United States the illusion that he was actually for the people, because they had to do that so people would buy into the whole QAnon and all of that happened. Anyway, quote, I have come from Washington, D.C. this week to take the floor on the agenda item, treaty universalization, to underscore the continuing commitment of the United States to responsible international trade in conventional arms, William Malzahn said at the 7th Conference of the States Parties to the Arms Trade Treaty. Notice the terminology they're using here, conventional arms. We went over the United Nations Small Arms Treaty on this channel. I think it's still up. I'm not 100% sure. We went over all the terminology. We went over general disarmament in a peaceful world back when I first started. We've already been through all of this. Quote, the United States has long supported strong and effective national controls on the international transfer of conventional arms, and the Arms Trade Treaty is an important tool for promoting those controls internationally, he said, according to the transcript provided to Secrets by the lobbying arm of the National Rifle Association. 1. The people of the United States have not long supported strong and effective national controls on the international transfer of conventional arms. First of all, and the NRA, for those who don't know, is a Trojan horse. The NRA will compromise, I'm doing the air quotes, compromise your rights away every single time. They've backed every major infringement that has ever gone on in this country, and they say, well, we can settle somewhere in the middle. No, we will not give an inch. The NRA has warned that among many moves, the treaty will require all arms that Americans buy from overseas makers to be tracked. To do that, a global gun registry would be created and maintained for 10 years. Every owner will be listed on that registry. This is the first step toward creating a global firearms registry, said the Second Amendment advocacy group. President Biden wants to give foreign bureaucrats control over the rights of law-abiding Americans, and the NRA will fight it every step of the way, it added today in a Twitter thread. No, it won't. It will give you the illusion. People will demonize the NRA, and that is a way. The NRA is a way for them to bring all people that own firearms into one group that can be easily destroyed in the public mind and just in general. So the NRA up here acting, big and bad, and they're going to fight it every step of the way. We already know that they are lying. Because again, they've compromised on every single major infringement in the entire, in the whole United States. Every single thing that we've, every single regulation or whatever that they've passed, every single gun law. This new CAT policy will better frame the intent and priorities of the Biden-Harris administration and formalize the approach of the administration as adopted on arms transfer decisions that have been in effect since President Biden entered the White House in January, he said, according to the transcript. Quote, the revised CAT policy should be finalized shortly and released as a public document. When it is, the United States will then use that policy framework to review specific arms transfer issues, including determining the proper relationship of the United States to the Arms Trade Treaty, he added. Sounds like an awful lot of world governing to me. Don't know about any of you. This is something that needs to be watched closely, especially at this point in time. They're doing all of the stuff that they're doing right now while Americans and people around the world still possess arms. What do you think they're going to do once they have all the firearms? And this is an agenda that they've been wanting for a long time. For a very long time. I'm not sure if you guys are getting that semi-truck. He's all the way up on the highway. But I'm going to try to find the arms treaty again. See if I could find a revised version, an updated version. Because I'm curious on, going through it and seeing if they amended anything or fixed anything up or anything like that. Also, really fast, I wanted to bring up this one. And this is also important because, well, as the title says, majority of companies plan to have C19 mark mandate survey finds. If you don't know it yet, your job is going to mandate the shot. We already know what this is doing. We already know. And look right here, 3:13. That video would be 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Oh, man. Okay. Once a touchy subject in the private sector, a new survey indicates that most firms are now planning on having C19 mark mandates for their workforce. The thing that doesn't exist, right? The thing that we told people all last year what was going to happen, and they said, that will never happen. You watch too much TV. You're a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Well, here we are. And a lot of people think, I hate repeating myself all the time, but I must. People think, oh, well, my job, they say that they're supportive of individual rights. Your job, when given the blessing by the government, or if they think they can, they will do this. And you watch, they're going to start offering companies certain tax breaks and certain incentives to want to mandate the shot to their workers. The number of companies requiring workers to get the shot is expected to surge over the next several months, according to data released by Wednesday by Willis Towers Watson, a multinational advisory and insurance firm. Expected to surge over the next several months. Over half the employees surveyed, 52%, said that by the fourth quarter of 2021, they could have one or more vaccine mark requirements. Damn it, I said the word. Mark mandate requirements in the workplace. This ranges from requiring marks for employees to access common areas, such as cafeterias, to requiring the jab for a subset of specific employees, to requiring it for all employees. This is a major hike from the current 21% of firms that have some type of mark mandate in place for employees. The survey was conducted between August 18th and 25th in the wake of the insidious spread of the more contagious Delta variant, and respondents included nearly 1,000 U.S. employees that together employ nearly 10 million workers. The Delta variant has made employers take new actions to keep their workers and workplaces safe and healthy. That's what they always say: safe and healthy, safe and effective. We expect even more employers to institute mark mandates in the wake of FDA approval of the Pfizer mark. Dr. Jeff Levin Scherz, the population health leader at Willis Towers Watson, said in a statement, quote, "This is not an easy situation for employers to navigate." He added, "For instance, new policies such as tracking workers' marks can improve safety, but also bring additional administrative requirements. At the same time, employers will continue efforts to encourage mark and communicate regularly with employees." Okay. Now, if you work at a small business or something, you might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, my boss already said he won't be doing that." It's going to come down to a point to where these businesses will be forced to fail if they don't institute this. We know where this is going. We know what they want. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention and lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are imploring Americans to get the C-19 mark to protect themselves and those around them from the virus that has left more than 600,000 dead in the U.S. C-19 marks are safe and effective, the CDC states on its website. Millions of people in the United States have received C-19 marks under the most intense safety monitoring in U.S. history. Well, they can say that all day, but part of their safety monitoring was to remove any liability from the manufacturers, while simultaneously wanting to go against gun manufacturers every time a, firearm is committed in any kind of crime. Still, mark requirements have emerged as a hot-button issue for vocal faction of Americans resisting the shot, despite the U.S. recording the highest number of coronavirus cases. They're going to keep lying about this. And it just keeps going on. And some 59% of employers currently track their employees' V status. Additional 19% are planning or considering to do so later in the year, bringing the total to some 78% of employers. 78% of employers by the end of the year. Do you understand how vast that is? Do you understand that is literally the majority of workplaces? Around 31% of employers are either offering or considering offering financial incentives to staff for getting marked. Oh, and here we go. The Equal Opportunity Employment Commission said employers can legally require C-19 marks to re-enter a physical workplace, as long as they follow requirements to find alternative arrangements for employees unable to get marked for medical reasons or because they have religious objections. Still, mandates have spurred. And you guys notice, every time somebody brings up a medical exemption or religious exemption, they always make it into some kind of joke. They make it into, I seen someone that said, because this one person on social media was like, "Oh, this goes against my religion." And this lady was like, "Oh, if your God doesn't want you to get this to protect your fellow man, then you need to find a new God," and just saying stuff like that. And I was like, these people, Father, forgive them, for they do not know right from wrong. My people shall perish for a lack of knowledge. That's what I have to keep in mind. And then you keep going down here. As for return to normal, about 39% of companies now expect their organizations won't reach a new normal in terms of returning to the workplace and ending pandemic-related policies and programs until the second quarter of 2022. About a quarter, 26%, expect to return to normal in the first quarter of 2022. Well, that's pretty sad because we already know we're not going back to normal. They made sure to tell us that as soon as they rolled this out. They said, you are never going back to normal. This is the new normal. How many times have you heard that? Even still today. Uncertain times. New normal. safe and effective, weapons of mass destruction. It's all the same thing. It's these little slogans, these little sayings that they say. It's like a red herring. And people tend to use these, and that's like the end of their argument. Oh, well, the government said it was safe and effective, so it's safe and effective. And I don't care what you show me about graphene oxide. I don't care what patents you show me on cryptocurrency system using body activity data. I don't care if you show me the paperwork for the D dot 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 N dot A dot 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 modification. They say it's safe and effective, and that's it. So this and this should be watched very closely. Do not register anything. Don't turn in anything. Don't get that shot. Don't do any of it at all whatsoever. God bless.